Hi there. Andrew Stecker, audition video 1 for second block of auditions for DK Shoots mini documentary, Real People. And I'm a real person, so that works. Um, Answering a few questions here. First question is, what is the most important aspect of your life and why? For me, the most important aspect of my life would be that I'd have something to look forward to every day. Every week, every month, year, and so on. You know that I'm working towards something that I know that the best part of my life is still in front of me. You know, and it's not behind me. That I haven't achieved all that I want to achieve. That there always is something to work towards. Um, that is, at least in simplest terms, is day in day out how I try and view the world and my life. And the next question is, how would you define success? And to me, success is my own satisfaction in what I have achieved up until that specific point. You know, that doesn't necessarily mean that, I've reached the peak of Mount Everest, so to speak, but it's more so that I found a sense of peace along the journey. That I've found myself, because once I feel that you've found yourself and your own strength, your own inner soul, you've become in touch with that and can call up upon that inner strength at any time, then there's really no need for what this world considers successful, as far as like career or money. Now I have those goals as well, but if for whatever reason I ultimately don't achieve those goals, the process in which to getting there, I have achieved like inner peace or found my inner strength, which I feel like I'm doing. I feel that that is what successful really means to me, at least. And the next question is, how would you define the meaning of life? Very light question there. Well, for me, the meaning of life kind of goes all the way back to when I was a kid. I remember my father and my grandfather taught me the ever simple game of chess, and at that point in time, I'd only been really familiar with checkers, and I realized so quickly that chess is so much more complicated. In checkers, you're thinking one, two, maybe three moves ahead, um, but that's kind of rare. The game of chess, however, requires you to think like 5, 10, and for advanced players like 15, 20 moves in front. Um, and that's really hard to do. So I think that can be incorporated into life. Life's more a game of chess, not checkers. As human beings, we tend to try and simplify things. I know I do. You're thinking only like one or two moves in front. Um, and in chess rather than checkers, the life and say the powers that be, the universe, God, whatever, is is thinking more so 5, 10, 15, 20 moves in front, and those are all the things that happen in your life, the day-to-day occurrences. And I like to view that as how life works. That life kind of is all, it's all like the circle of life. It's all intertwined together, and you may not understand the hard moves that need to happen. Like when if you lose a pawn, if you lose one of your bigger pieces. That's sometimes it's hard for people to hear, but that's sometimes necessary in the grand scheme of things, and and it can be really hard for people to hear. But I believe that that's what needs to happen, and that's what I've at least chosen to believe through my own sorrows. Everyone has their own, and through my own, I've chosen to believe that. Sorry, I almost forgot about why. Why that is the most important aspect of my life is, I don't know, because I feel like it gives my life a sense of meaning or purpose. You know that's my fuel to get up in the get up in the beginning parts of the day. You know that when you're just laying in bed and you don't want to get up and you're like, I don't want to get up, I don't want to go to work. Why do I want to go to work? What do I need work for? Do I even want to have a job? And do I need food? Do I need a place to live? You know, you go through that in your head every morning, and to know that there's something to get up for every day, I think that gives your life some direction, some, meaning, purpose that it needs. And the next question is, what do you value and treasure most in your life? And, friends, family, obviously, um, and so much more than that. It kind of goes back for me personally when I found out that my wife had committed adultery and had fallen in love with another man and ultimately ended up wanting a divorce, and that it all just came so abruptly for me, like the carpet had just been swept out right from under me. I had no idea what to do. My entire life that I had known was gone. It had been crumbling around me. I felt like I couldn't grab onto anything. But really, like your friends and family they're reaching out for you and they're ready to pull you back up, and so you can find a new platform to stand upon, a new life to live for. And I like to think that they did that for me. Like I had a friend who took me in, and I lived with them for about three 3 months. Him and his girlfriend and his son, and it was uh, it was difficult even then. But what was keeping me afloat was the fact that I had my friends and my family. And when I ultimately ended up moving here, I had family here that at least allowed me to stay afloat and continue to search for the platform to which I would, stand on. And I wanted to make that as sturdy as possible so that it wouldn't crumble around me. And that starts with yourself. That starts with me. Um, I didn't want to rely on someone else for my happiness. I wanted to rely on myself so that if that person were to be taken away again, I ultimately had the platform that I had established myself through my friends and my family that was sturdy and secure, and it would not crumble around me again. Um, but even so, if something were to happen, I knew I could rebuild again. Like I had done it before, and I could do it again if I had to. And the next one is, what is your greatest regret or obstacle? Um, and I'm going to skip over the regret part for a second. I'll go straight to the obstacle. For me, the greatest obstacle is me. Like, I really, I have it, but it's maybe not as much as other people. People telling me that I can't do something or that I won't do something. Um, the haters, and I really don't. The term that you've heard before is I let my haters be my motivators. I really that might work for some people, but it doesn't work for me. Like you just don't listen to it, and it doesn't really sink in with me. For me, the biggest obstacle is myself, like my own voice telling me that I can't or won't do something. That I can be my own greatest and worst influence just being in my own head. I'm the only thing that's keeping me from doing the things I want to do. And and as far as the regrets, I'm one of those people who believe that it's good not to have regret. Even though I've been through some bad stuff, I mean, everyone's been through something bad. People have been through much worse than I have, and I understand that. But it's my own personal struggle that I'm dealing with, and that's what I have to at least appreciate. But as far as regrets, my biggest regrets would be not eating as healthier of a lunch yesterday as I could have, or not getting butter on my popcorn at the movie theater when I know I really wanted butter. Like those would be the biggest regrets I would have. Um, so I try not to have too many bigger regrets than that. And next is, how would your life change if these disappeared in regards to the obstacles and regret? Um, I think that, the inner voice I was talking about, that, being my own greatest or worst influence, I think it's necessary in a way. Like, you can't just delete that inner voice. I mean, it's there to protect you, but I just have to learn. I had to learn, and still am learning how to control the volume on it. Like it can get a little louder, and I don't think that's really. It's good in some situations, but I think in some of the terms we're talking about here, it's not. So I've learned how to control that volume and to bring it down a little bit. Maybe not let it be as loud and as much of an influence on my life, telling me not to do something or I'm not good enough to do something. I've learned how to quiet that a little bit so that it doesn't influence my decision as much. But I think it's good to not just completely delete it, like to get rid of it. I think it's good to at least have that in certain situations, but to just be able to control the volume on it. Don't let it completely um, overwhelm any decision, really, that you make. Like, don't let it influence as much of your decision making process as it should, as it wants to. And the final question is, how would your life? No, not that one. Do you love the life you're living? And if not, how can you change that? Um, yes, I do love the path that I'm currently on because I know it's leading ultimately to where I want to be. Um, and I'm confident that where I end up is where I'm supposed to end up. There's a flow to the universe that I've become a student of, and I try and pay attention to that flow. Like you try and find where that flow is, and you just kind of follow it. Like it's not so much up to you. It's you just kind of go along with where it's taking you, and it's ultimately based on your decisions. So you are in charge, but you just have to find that flow and hold on. And I'm not where I want to be yet, and there are things that I do want in my life, like relationships and such. I am a single guy, and it can be a bit lonely because your energies are placed in your career. My day job, obviously, it needs energy as well. My career choice of being an actor, like a lot of my energy is devoted to that because I'm determined to make that happen for me, and determined, to continue to be successful in my day job. And unfortunately, that doesn't leave a lot of energy for personal relationships. But again, that goes into the flow of the universe. Like I know that it will bring me what I need when I truly need it. I mean, going through my divorce and that I've had a few relationships since, and none of them really stuck. And I think that what I need is to focus on what I am actually meant to do with my life, and everything else will transpire and say the chips fall where they may throughout that process. So there's really no need to force anything. I think everything happens when it needs to happen, and I trust that. So thank you for watching. Good luck in casting all this. Obviously, I hope I make it to the next selection, but I trust that you guys will make the best choices, and I look forward to seeing the finished project, even if I'm not in it. So good luck. Thanks.